saw some of those shenanigans yesterday in the tiebreaker between G2 and Suning that looked like it might have given G2 their out, but Camille will be the next ban here coming out from PSG.
Yeah, as I said, it's kind of ridiculous. In 33 games over his career in competitive play, he has an 82% win rate on the Camille. So Hanabi definitely doesn't want to play against that, considering, especially right now in the meta, this is one of the champions that has been dominating, especially, you know, with everybody taking grass, really more difficult to punish it in lane than it was previously. Meanwhile, there's the Lucian that we're looking for Damwon. It's very, very common now on the red side ban. I would still be looking, you know, for them to throw one more ban here at Hanabi. Take away one of the comfort picks, probably the Ornn or the Renekton. If they want to continue on bottom side, though, and continue to target Unified, they very well could whittle down on this champ pool.
Not surprised to see the Nidalee banned away. That champion actually had the highest combined pick and ban percentage at 96% in group play for week 1. So lots of attention being paid to Nidalee, banned away here in this first game of the day. Orianna banned out, and what will be the first pick of the draft here for PSG Talon? Thinking about the 80 carry, they lock in the Ashe.
And the Ashe does get through utility from the bottom lane. This is a good strategy here for PSG. You want some hard engage to be able to try and punish Damwon when they do go for some of these more aggressive skirmish plays. They're playing around Canyon. They're trying to fight you. If they can get some good Ashe arrows, that may be an opportunity to punish. And instead of banning the Ornn, Damwon just pick it right up here.
Ornn. He has been instrumental in so many victories in so many games throughout Worlds 2020 here so far. And Damwon are looking to put another dub in the column for the big man with the horn. Graves also locked in. Super popular pick so far this tournament. Not surprised to be seeing more of him. And the Syndra hover coming out from PSG Talon, but they switch it up and they go for the Kindred instead.
Yeah, back on Kindred once again. Some more comfort here for River. See what they follow it up with as far as the Syndra hover that they had before. It's an interesting topic because so many teams have so highly prized Syndra, but since the last round of nerfs, she does have a lot more mana problems than previously, and this has opened up a lot more answers for counter matchups in the mid lane, because not only can you try and play assassins into the Syndra like the Echo, but you can also try and play the mana game versus Syndra with the problems that she does now have with the last round of changes. They are going to allow PSG to throw 2 more mid lane bans though. Right on through at Showmaker. He doesn't care. His champ pool is deep enough.
Faith in the mid laner from Damwon, saying you can ban whatever you want, we'll still have an answer for it. Instead, they wanted to make sure they got that Jhin online for the matchup in bot lane against the Ashe before more bans came through targeting that one. Now that we're in the second half of the bans here, it's Lulu, the first one banned away by Damwon.
And I would say for PSG, if you're trying to protect the Syndra, okay, they are going double assassins probably then. Akali banned out here. As we've seen, Echo probably short to follow. Meanwhile, the Lulu that they used last time around from PSG to try and you know, push on the top side, multiple 3-person dives against Nagari were fended off. Is banned away, so they won't be able to pull off that same supportive strategy from the top side of the map. Meanwhile, they also still ban away the Sylas. Don't want that Sylas into Ornn, which it definitely can scale super well. Has a pretty good lane against him. You can go Conqueror versus the Ornn and have some pretty good ults to steal as well.
All right, what's that last ban going to be here? Will we see that second assassin ban paired up with the Akali, just trying to protect tank on this Syndra a little bit further? Or will they switch it up? Pantheon banned away instead.
Playmaking support taken away here. Beryl not going to be able to pull off a Core JJ impression from yesterday. Let's see. What are they going to lock in for bottom side here first? That Echo does get through the bans, and they snatch it right up. I expect that to get locked in for Showmaker. It allows you to play 4-1 there, since you do have the Ornn, you have long range engage. And if you play the side lanes, it's so effective for Echo to be able to push later on without too many answers, and then be able to move in for a collapse with a super long range Ornn engage and the follow up from Jhin ultimate. It's really beneficial for Damwon to open up the map.
And I really like leaving that support pick for last here too, since they already know what the enemy mid laner is. This will allow them to see both halves of the 2v2 lane that their opponents are drafting before making their own choice and picking that one up, trying to give Damwon as much of an edge in that bottom lane as they can. So GP topside against Ornn, he'll be able to farm up. We'll see if he can have the impact they need from their top laner to really, you know, make this upset that is so unlikely happen.
Yeah, we've seen so many, you know, Ornn attempts Gangplank attempts to the Ornn. The idea is, of course, that you get your cross-map ultimate and you try and make plays off bottom side. Ornn just, you know, can't really dive unless you bring the jungler as well versus the Gangplank. And so Gangplank tries to scale up. You have your passive for extra gold generation, and you try to get dragon plays off with your ultimate. If Gangplank is pressured hard enough by the top side of the map, though, that he has to use his Gangplank ultimate for wave clear or to defend himself against dives, then it really takes away, you know, all the potential for that pick. We'll see if they can actually pull it off here for PSG Talon. Definitely have a mountain to climb against them, going against LCK #1, against Damwon. So far, the most dominant Tane.
And look at that support matchup there in the bottom lane with the Tahm Kench locked in for PSG Talon. Damwon will answer with the Bard, and that will be a difficult 2v2 for Tahm Kench to deal with.
Yeah, barrel roaming around, creating plays could be very, very dangerous for them. We've already talked about how Canyon likes to go, you know, pressure inside the enemy jungle. You steal away camps. If you've got a Bard, that makes it quicker to pull off these plays. It makes it more healthy because the Bard can also lay down your Coco to heal you back up, and it gives you the long range pick potential plus tower dive opportunities when he gets his ult.
I like how you call it Coco because everyone uses Snow Day Bard. It's not even a healing shrine anymore. It's just a cup of Coco because that's the only skin everyone uses. It's like the Galio skin that throws buckets of chicken at people. I don't even consider it the Winds of War anymore. It's just a chicken skin at this point in time. But that just
the most dangerous of chicken.
Successful skin marketing right there. But we are just about to jump into this first game of the day. Remember, Damwon is sitting pretty. This group, no team is tied in the standings coming into day 2 of play here. It's Damwon at 3-0. It's PSG Talon at 0-3. And they must win every single game today if they want to have a chance of making it out of the group and continuing to play in Worlds past this day.
There is a reason this group was deemed the group of death as soon as it was drawn. PSG Talon trying to fight their way towards a win in the group of death, and it is going to be a struggle.
Damwon is just such a force of nature in the games that we've seen from him so far. We already heard the desk talking about it, how it seems every single element of their gameplay, from their laning to their team fighting, their decision making, their cohesion, it's all there. And to dismantle a monster like this, PSG Talon is going to need to be clean. And let's not forget the trials and tribulations this roster has had to go through even getting here. Remember, they weren't even able to play with their complete roster in play-ins. They started off in the very beginning with 3 different subs, and then quickly were able to get their prime AD carry back, but still had to play with a substitute mid laner and jungler.
Kanye and Uniboy, you will be remembered as heroes. Honestly, those two coming in, getting PSG to where they are today, really valiant performance. But with the correct roster back in place, let's see what they can do. I did, again, like their plan and the preparation that they came into their first matchup versus Damwon with. So I expect them to, again, have another pre-laid plan. We are getting a look at the level 1s. Kaiwing is the Hail of Blades Tahm Kench, very potent champion in level 1. This has been on display from G2's Mickey, of course. You can stack up your passive extremely quickly and get your stun with your tongue lash from the acquired taste. Hanabi here, they'll try and do a pincer movement on this tri-brush, quite possibly, or even Kaiwing staying up here for a super cheesy first blood. It's honestly a tactical maneuver. If you do this, though, and you keep your support up here, it means your carry in the bottom lane does have to cede minion wave control. Here we go.
All right, Ornn walks up to the brush and then immediately uses the Searing Charge to get away. It's exhaust used for half of a health bar. Not even a summoner spell expended by Nagari here. And look at Hanabi's health. He lost a good chunk of his own. So really, is the investment worth it?
I'm going to say that is definitely not going to be worth it. You can see the punishment on bottom side. This is one of the points I was bringing up last time from the first time that we had Damwon versus PSG. Barrow and Ghost immediately punished when Kaiwing went to roam. And last time around, they did get the 2v1 kill. This time around, they just get the early push on the minion wave. They get a little chunk onto Unified. He's got biscuits and health potions early on, so he does have some sustain, but it is going to mean the early level 2 for Ghost and Barrel. They should be able to pressure under tower, and we'll see if that results in any early CF deficits as far as miss CS under tower. It certainly is going to set up possibility for bottom side kingdom there for Damwon, as we see Canyon has actually full cleared his blue side and is playing up to the top side to possibly pressure Hanabi on the gangplank for pushing.
Yeah, we'll see both of these junglers here in the top half of the map right now. Also, remember, Kindred's in the game, so it's important to keep our eyes on where those marks are spawning. A lot of time, the Kindred players just kind of got to hope to RNG the appropriate spawn on the crab that she's going after. Otherwise, you just end up losing out on some stats.
And we could take some time here, since I don't expect there to be actual kill action going on, to just go over how you control Kindred marks. Because I've heard a lot of people, talking about it as a possibility, but not understanding exactly how it works. The first mark is guaranteed to spawn on the Scuttle Crabs, as everybody knows. That's the easy part, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the two. Now, if you get unlucky and you don't get the first mark on your side of the crab that you've committed to, like River just did, it is 40 seconds for the respawn. Well, we're gonna have some action here, so we'll pause on the Kindred talk.
All right, a little bit of educational content interrupted by a brawl as River has to try to flash away, but it's actually first blood for River. Nagari will fall down in the top lane, and it is a trade 1-for-1, but good heads-up play coming out from PSG Talon, making sure they get on the board first. But now Canyon, he is not quite done, looking for a little bit more damage onto Hanabi here. Won't quite be able to find it, doesn't force the flash. Good patience from Hanabi.
Woo, River head into the wall right there, a little bit of pie on the face, but they still did get the first blood, got the kill to come in there, and they did, I believe, did he switch his mark over? I'll have to take a look at the marks when it pops up next time, but it looked like they had a little bit of extra gain there. We'll see as far as the reset, though, because this is going to allow Nuguri, he does teleport right back out and starts pushing the lane.
Nagari ending up with the death there, but let's take another look at how it went down in our Axe replay.
All right, so Canyon does get the full combo on him. Missed Q over the wall, so River does have to flash, but it allows him to get the execute there onto Nagari, so they do get it to come in pretty early. That being said, Damwon still with a very, very slight extra gold lead from CS.
And the one thing to pay attention to in that fight is, although Hanabi walked up and fired the bullet from his gun towards Nagari, look at the scoreboard. There's no assist for the Gangplank. So first blood came through for the Kindred, who managed to get the kill without GP actually being involved. So the extra 200 gold that you would get from the assist on first blood is not in GP's pocket, which makes that work out a little bit better for Damwon than you would otherwise expect. And now you can see Canyon continuing to just farm up a storm here on the Graves, doing what Graves does, clearing those camps out so efficiently and so quickly as Showmaker goes in for a trade here. But Tank gets the better of him on the Syndra. And we saw in Champion Select that Syndra has quite a few plays already here in Worlds, but only a 39% win rate after 5 days of groups play. So all those sort of weaknesses and nerfs that you were talking about in the draft, we'll see if Tank and PSG Talon can circumvent those, as lots of good trading coming down. Solo kill for Tank.
Flowers, you can see it on your screen as it's happening, as you're talking. I'm like, okay, this cannon is going to be some bait right here. It's Showmaker bites. Tank just waiting for him to go for the last hit on that cannon. He didn't want the cannon to get into turret range. He wanted to proc his passive on it to execute. He does get it, but he goes down and trade for it now. River in the 1v1.
Not quite a full 1v1 as Hanabi's able to back him up there with the ulti, and when the mid laner rotates over as well, they make the plays happen. PSG Talon with 3 kills early on.
Do you believe in PSG, Captain Flowers? They have the early game lead over Damwon Gaming after these consecutive plays, chaining off a mid lane mistake from Showmaker. greeting for the Canyon, getting CC 100% to 0 by Tank's Syndra. Really nicely played by Tank. He saw him going for the Canyon, able to get that, and because of that play, because of the 1v1, he's able to go support River. You know, they have Gangplank Ultimate, they have Syndra priority, and Canyon goes down as well.
Yeah, that just seemed a little bit too hyphy there from Canyon. I mean, he gets into the 1v1, he's thinking, oh yeah, I'll fight Kindred, we both got Red Smite, I can outplay him. But it's not him you're outplaying, it's him and his buddy and his buddy's buddy.
Team game, bruh.
And all of a sudden, yeah, it's a team game, and you're just not in the best spot anymore. So Canyon finds himself dead for the first time this game. Of course, he still has the only kill so far for Damwon Gaming. They're still only 200 gold behind, so I do want to go ahead and point that out. Although there are 2 kills in the lead here for PSG Talon, when you look at the farm, it's still not that big of a deal because remember, let's go back to what you were talking about earlier, that level 1 lane kingdom setup that we got to see in the bottom side here for Ghost and Barrow, putting themselves in a good spot. The nature of Bard versus Tahm Kench to begin with. You can see a 15 CS lead here for Ghost.
Yeah, when you get the early push there as Jin Bard, you're going to be able to lay on the harassment. They've done just that. This also opens up Barrow to go make plays across the rest of the map. And as far as tempering some expectations here for PSG, like we said, they actually had a really good game plan going into the first matchup as well. Let me tell you a little story, Captain Flex.
All right, regale me with the tale.
Gather around, because in game number 1 with the matchup, they threw 2 3-person dives at Nagari for the top side on his Kennen. Consecutive here at his level 5 and at his level 6 to try and get him super far behind. And yet, Nagari still ended up with 4 solo kills in a single game. That's the most of anyone from the first round robin in the whole tournament. And he acquired those 4 solo kills in a single game. And possibly the most impressive thing about Damwon, as the desk was referring to, is that they are so versatile now. It doesn't have to be a Nagari 4 solo kill, hard team fight carrying game. He's on Ornn this game. They have so many other threats that they can go for. So while PSG with this early lead should be hyping themselves up, still need to remain focused here because Damwon have been very good at pulling these leads back, and bottom lane is going to be a point that they try and do that on.
Well, hey, I praised Damwon for a 15 CS lead in the bottom lane, so now I got to give credit where credit is due to both solo laners of PSG Talon because they also have 15 CS leads over their opponents. Topside evolving now into a 20 CS lead for Hanabi's Gangplank. And remember, that's Gangplank, so each minion is worth even more when he farms it up with the parlay bonus. Now, with River and the rest of the squad here in this top side of the River, they'll easily pick up that first Rift Herald for themselves. And let's see, ooh, the face check from Hanabi, forced to flash over the wall there as Canyon threatens the kill.
And we're seeing in action multiple times how good Canyon's preparation is. When you are able to set up as Graves in these brush, remember when he was able to do it versus River, expecting the top lane dive. Here, after the Rift Herald's taken, you get that global alert. It's very easy to assume that they're going to come straight up the river. But Graves from the brush is able to get these huge chunks. You get the summoner spell there. It's all about trying to predict and control your opponent's pathing. And those are the ways where you see the best junglers create their own advantages. A lot of people have been hyper-focused on the junglers that have just been farming their own camps because that is actually the lowest form of value creation for junglers. And there are so many other opportunities farming your opponent's camps, setting up your vision, Dragon's Towers, lane pressure that you should be trying to create proactively rather than just cycling. And Canyon is one of the very best in the world at doing that. This is the difference between some of the Graves that just kind of are even in CS, till later, and those that actually create opportunities for their laners and create deficits that are forced upon their opponents.
Can't be having no vegetarian junglers at Worlds, my friend. They got to get some meat in the diet, need to be carnivorous, setting up opportunities for themselves and the people around them to make sure they can get those plays. Now you can see Canyon here in the bottom side. Ghost tries to take down that third plate, won't quite be able to get it, but pretty easy for him to retreat. A Tahm Kench isn't going to do a whole lot to chase him down, but topside, Shelly is summoned up, used very early, so they're not going to get a ton of extra value there, knocking down a bunch of plates, but they will get the first 2, nearly taking out the third here. Just wanting to make sure that they get to drop that Rift Herald, guarantee the value they're going to get out of it, put all the money onto Gangplank, Trial by Fire will light the turret up. And a couple more hits here should be able to grab that third plate for him, but doesn't want to stick around. There we go. Just manages to get it on his way out.
Yeah, confidence there because you know you've got the cannon minion, extra damage, and you can just walk away. This was actually pretty necessary because if you look at the matchup here, an Ornn with teleport, it's very rare that you're going to get the ideal Rift Herald situation where, you know, you are able to either kill or force off the opponent top laner to take the first couple turret plates by yourself, then use the Rift Herald true damage for execution on the turret to get the whole one. Yes, that's an ideal situation. You would love to have that happen. But when you've got an Ornn, like Nuguri with a Sunfire already and teleport ready, it doesn't seem like in the next 2 minutes you're going to be able to get that situation. So he wants to cash in on that Rift Herald as quickly as possible. 3 quick plates to boost that gold here. Trinity Force completed on the Gangplank. Bounty already on Kindred as well. So they do still have the top side operation going for PSG, and now with the Gangplank ultimate that should be ready again, we'll see if they can actually create a play here.
Yeah, the Kindred, the second richest person in the game. Always feels good to have that big of an economy when you are a jungler. Both of those junglers do have the Warrior enchantment completed already. And if you look in the inventory of Canyon, you can see the serrated Dirk. So going for some lethality, very good choice this game. When you look across the board, you see a lot of squishy champions aren't going to be itemizing a lot of armor. Lethality gets you plenty of bang for your buck. And so Canyon manages to outplay the shopkeeper early on. Now, the Drake will be spawning here in a little bit over 2 minutes. It's going to still be 6 minutes before Baron comes online, so that's still a ways away. But Canyon does move into the enemy jungle. Here's what you were talking about, saying, hey, steal the enemy camps. You don't have to farm your own as long as theirs are up. And now River will move into this bottom side River down here. He'll take the Scuttle Crab while Canyon takes his top side camp. But it's a 3-man dive coming through onto Hanabi, and they should be able to grab the kill onto him here. The burst goes through, the damage comes down, and Hanabi goes home in a body bag. Nagari barely walks away from that turret aggro, but barely is good enough. Now on the opposite side of the map, River's getting into a fight in the jungle, chases Barrel away, but will not find a kill.
So Damwon with another proactive play here. Take out Hanabi, as well as opening up, you know, extra turret pushing power here on the top side, while backing off of their weak side. They just revealed multiple members on the top side of the map, so Ghost and Barrel already avoid the possible counterplay here from PSG. Very good by them not to give anything back. And this is how you make the trades one-sided, Flowers. There's nothing offered from Damwon to allow PSG to get an answer there. Even Showmaker on Echo is able to avoid any possible, you know, hard counter push towards the mid lane. And for Echo to only be down 10 CS versus the Syndra feels like he is going to have a very good time as the towers start to go down and you transition into side lane play. This could be a 2v1 though.
Well, Showmaker goes for the playmaker, but considering Tank's got buddies there, once again, Kobe, it just comes down to team game. You got teammates nearby, all of a sudden the other dude can't get done what he needs to do, and that means that Tank gets to walk away. He'll head back to base, shop up, does have TP to come back and immediately get right back into the action.
And pretty quickly here, Flowers, Damwon's strategy is going to be to split those teammates up, because if you do move down, you take your bottom outer tower as well, that would open up both side lanes to allow Showmaker to call for the 1v1. You call your shot, you say, who wants to answer? You've got an extended lane down there, which makes it really, really dangerous for the PSG members to send any single person there. And they have to have a plan to either force on an objective on some other opportunity, some other area of the map, or invest globals to correct the situation. So that's why the transition here towards the mid game for Damwon should be pretty easy for them to pull off. They teleport Showmaker right immediately back down to the bottom lane to start hard pushing. Next goal is to get that second outer tower down. Dragon going to be started up as well. Talon do have Hanabi's teleport.
They're using that teleport now. Remember, Nagari already made his way down here just walking, so he doesn't have to use the TP to get involved. Drake down to 2K. Enchanted Crystal Arrow flies through, not going to find anything, neither will the Bard ulti. but River is able to grab the kill onto the Drake, but now the health bars are popping and PSG is dropping. Showmaker grabbing the kill onto Tank as the 4th shot flies through and finds a second. It's Tank and Kaiwing both down. It's the Drake over to PSG, but they must trade 2 for it. Might turn into a 3rd here. Hanabi tries to get himself away, will manage to escape thanks to the oranges.
And Damwon will gladly give away that Dragon Smite fight if they get the outer tower on bottom side. After these extra kills that they pull through, Dragon Fight, not only is bottom lane going down at the same time, but they're even threatening the dive.
Canyon on the side could set up some serious damage here. Remember, he doesn't have the ulti ready to go. Barrel's nearly killed off. Unified's doing a lot of work chasing these guys away and does manage to keep that turret protected. And that means that PSG Talon will not give over the additional objective on top of losing that bottom lane turret.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely props anytime you have a high-pressure smite fight like that. I always respect it. The mechanics are definitely hard to pull off. Canyon was in range. Canyon does have smite, so good job by River. He dodges around. He Qs back in to get it. But Showmaker with the stun, actually insane there. Even though Tahm Kench is there for a devour, it's the 2 quick pickups for Damwon. They even had Nuguri flanking in, and while Nuguri's ultimate doesn't catch them, it's because his ultimate got 2 more flashes. So yeah, they extract so many cooldowns that they don't feel bad about losing that smite fight. They get all 3 outer towers, and that game plan has unfolded, Flowers.
Yeah, and it's not like they're in a bad spot where their opponents are just stacking Drakes now. I mean, considering Damwon was able to get the first one, that's not really that big of a deal. It's tied up 1-1. Everybody's still 3 Drakes away. That's 15 minutes from a potential soul, even if they get the next 3 in a row. So plenty of time for Damwon Gaming to work with that. They still command a 3,000 gold lead over PSG Talon right now. PSG Talon, of course, trying to get those next items completed, get to a point where they feel like they're strong. You can see the inventories right now. We've kind of halfway there to some of those second items. The Black Cleaver being built for the Kindred. You can see a little bit of crit starting to come through there for the Ashe, but Nagri and Beryl are setting up something maybe down here in the bottom lane, but I don't think they really have kill pressure on the Gangplank adjustment.
Yeah, Black Cleaver here for Kindred. He's really, it's annoying to play Kindred into Ornn, but he's going to look for some extra shredding there. Damwon, though, grouping up on mid lane. There's the pick.
The Ashe gets caught, but considering there's enough help nearby, Damwon does not have the ability to follow up on that ulti, so Unified is safe.
All right, it's going to be huddle inside your defenses here for PSG and look for the extended member from Damwon, because they've been corralled onto their own side of the map for so long that all of your vision past the river is completely expired. You can't really get wards out there aside from sending multiple members, firing the hawk shot first. This arrow does miss.
Oh, Ghost gets himself away, but has to use both summoner spells to do it. PSG Talon trying to seize the opportunity to take advantage of that out of position AD carry, but when all of the resources are available, Ghost can still get himself out of that trouble. However, he's now vulnerable when PSG decide they can make a move on him again in the next 5 minutes. Hanabi face checking the brush. Canyon and Nagari are right there. The Gangplank so incredibly low. Lamb's rest, but keeping him alive. Horn comes through. Hanabi walking away. A little bit of follow-up damage there from Beryl, but they won't be able to find him, and now the turnaround's coming through from PSG Talon. Beryl's on the run. Kaiwing here on the front line, going to be stunned up against the wall. Damage continuing to follow up. Deadly Flourish locks him down. Unified walking around. Unified dodges away from the shots, but Nagari takes him down with the eruption.
Beryl with that stun. Oh my goodness. Every time a Tahm Kench goes down, being CC'd and not being able to get off the gray skin, a smile goes across my face, honestly.
Oh yeah. Back on the bench with the Kench, baby.
Yeah, that guy's down and no possibility of a savior. This should be Damwon really pushing their advantage. Coming out ahead in that little skirmish there with the CC lock opens up so many opportunities for them. We already talked about the vision expiring for PSG because they've been put on the defensive so quickly here. I think the only thing to look to for that last positive is, yes, they did use Ashe Arrow and Gangplank Ultimate to get double summoners off of Ghost. So now you need to capitalize on that. The Jhin is the target. Jhin is the one you're going for. The thing you have to worry about is Beryl It's positioning. If he's next to Jin, he's got the Mikhails already, and he can save him.
Well, Hanabi's getting into a bit of a scrap here with Nagari. However, you can't really kill the Ornn that easily. This is a level 13 Ornn. The ornaments are online, and that means 3,000 gold's worth of free stats here for this big tanky boy in the top lane. Speaking of tank in the top lane, he is working on that tier 1 turret and does manage to take it down. That is the first turret that has been taken by PSG Talon this game. The objectives, they have just been falling behind in pretty badly over the course of this one. Fun fact about Damwon and turrets.
I love fun facts.
Oh yeah, well this one's pretty fun unless you're playing against him. If you're a Damwon fan, this one's great. But in week 1, Damwon took 30 of 33 available turrets. You know how many they lost? 2. 1 in top lane, 1 in bottom lane. Damwon Gaming have not lost a mid lane turret at all so far in Worlds 2020. Their turret control has been immaculate. In this game, you can see it's the same story. 4-1, back when we saw the turret plate comparisons, it was 2-7 or something ridiculous like that. Damwon know how to take advantage of these objectives and push them at the right times.
And they definitely don't have to stop. Next idea here is to transition some of your control wards up towards the Baron. Scuttle Crab, very lucky pickup here for PSG. That gives you the guaranteed vision, so they don't have to be too worried because they do have Hawkshot as well as the Scuttle Crab. But Damwon here can easily transition on over, and they can keep up multi-lane pressure. Showmaker there on the Echo, approaching level 16. Is so difficult to answer. When you have that Lich Bane, the possibility of 100-0ing somebody on that all-in becomes a reality.
Oh, Barrel! No, that was not a magical journey. That was a journey straight to hell. Luckily, he has the flash. He gets over the wall. He saves himself. Now the counterattack's coming through. Ornhorn sounds off. CC's going to follow it up there. The Jin ultimate providing the slows. Kaiwing trying to walk away. Uses the thick skin, but it's not thick enough. Showmaker picks up the kill.
Showmaker gonna make up for that one. He's like, don't worry, Barrel. I know misdirection. Nobody's gonna remember that play. As soon as we get the kill off of it, a boom! Magical journey pulled off there. Doesn't matter at all. The Baron now being forced down. PSG, can they make the miracle steal?
PSG knows they can't just allow Damwon to get away from this. That ulti wasn't quite on the mark, but Tank's able to find the kill onto Barrel, and that means that Damwon are shut down from this Baron play. Good move there from PSG Talon, stopping them and picking up a kill.
Yeah, not going to let them run over you. And again, Tank here with these Syndra stuns. These have been a lot of the pickups here for PSG. They are able to punish with another tower after that Baron Flowers, doubling your stat already here, PSG.
Oh, man. And that's the first mid-turret. That's the first mid-turret that Damwon Gaming have lost at Worlds 2020. PSG have now done what nobody in this group was able to do in week 1.
I like the punish here. They're not going to let Damwon get away with it. And you start to climb back up in gold. Your Kindred keeps getting on marks here to scale up for River, one of the comfortable champions. Canyon cuts it short. No parade today as the blue buff is taken away as well. As a fight over Gromp. Wins that one too.
Yep, Canyon is just stealing everything here. Crime City Graves. All the crime, none of the city. Just in the jungle instead.
The true mafia boss. He's enlisted the Gromp trade. Been controlling the Gromp trade in the underground since I was 5.
He was born into the Gromp life. As Nagari backs him up here and they go for the invade. 2 versus 3 right now, but backup is on the way. Barrel shows up as Jin opens up the curtain call. Kaiwing gets himself away, but Nagari's still looking to knock that Ornhorn through there. Hanabi's not going to end up dropped anytime soon here as Tank tries to deal with Showmaker in the 1v1. Fires off the ulti, doesn't even force the ulti away from the Echo, however. Barrel lands his own ult, and now it's trouble here for Unified. He gets gobbled up by the Tom Kench, but never mind, baby, that's a 2-for-1 deal. Buy one, get one free. Double kill for Ghost as Damwon Gaming have all 5 men alive, and they are heading right back to the Baron pit.
All right, round 2 here. We do have River and Tank alive. That has been the recipe for the comeback plays for PSG up until now. However, as you can see on the map, they are not heading over to Baron. They're choosing their fights here, and PSG have conceded to Damwon.
All right, as things are starting to look very dire here for PSG Talon, I do want to give everybody an update on the state of PSG and their miracle run. So it turns out, thanks to our stats magicians behind the scenes, hold on, let's see if Hanabi. Speaking of magicians, let's see if he can make himself disappear, or if Damwon Gaming's going to do it the hard way. Looks like it's the hard way, my friends, as Hanabi goes down in the 1v4 here. But back to what I was saying, PSG still technically, and it is very technically, have a chance even if they lose this game. 1 out of 32 remaining scenarios puts them in a tiebreaker for second, even with a loss here. For those of you in the audience who are wondering what that looks like as a percentage, it's 3. It is a 3% chance to get out of groups. And, oh no, it's a 3% chance to get a tiebreaker. And then you have to win the tiebreaker. So let's even say the tiebreaker's 50-50, so half of 3 is 1.5. So you lose this, you got 1.5%. That's more than 1. And all you need to have a chance is 1. So hey, it's more than that.
You know what? I'll take it at face value with the flower statistics here.
Hey,
you know
man,
what?
It's either getting out of groups is 50-50. Either do it or you don't. There's your math.
Honestly, true. Everything is a flip. Let's just flip it here. Damwon now with the Baron, ready to flip this base over. Bottom side is going to be the last secondary turret that they try and focus on. Again, Showmaker now is that level 16 on Echo. With the Lich Bane, he'll cut right through that tower. Meanwhile, mid lane not going to stand much longer either.
No, sir. Mid lane tier 3 turret just collapses. Bottom lane tier 2 turret says, don't worry, buddy, I'm coming with you. Showmaker makes short work of that one, and now with a 7-2 turret lead, 10-4 kill lead, tied up Drakes and an 8,000 gold edge, Damwon Gaming are looking to put this one to sleep. Let's see if they can make this one last fight count here. If they get a good fight, it is all said and done. Mid lane inhibitor is already gone. Cannon minions cleared out of bottom lane. 1 minute left on the Baron, so there's still going to be a couple more waves that Damwon get to enchant with that Baron buff, push up here and try to end this game with. Full health bars for everybody on Damwon, still hanging out. Now they've got both carries putting the damage onto the tier 3. They rotate so quickly. This team knows how to move and strike and make it count every single time. Tank lands a stun, but it's only on the orange, so it will not even matter. Minions continuing to push up. Here come the super minions. Baron still buffed up for another 30 seconds. Nexus turret number 1 is already gone. Here comes the Ornn Horn. There goes the follow-up. Kaiwing keeping his AD carry alive as Ornn is once again stunned. Nagari soaking all the damage here in the front line, but into the back line goes Showmaker, Playmaker, Life Taker. Absolutely shredding through some health bars. Going back to the base now, and he can use the TP to immediately rejoin. It's double TP showing up. It's Nexus exposed. It's Damwon Gaming doing what Damwon Gaming does. Picking up a couple of freebies here on the step to the fountain, putting the last couple of auto attacks into the Nexus, and going up to a 4-0 record here in groups so far. Taking their sweet damn time doing it, but that's another dub for Damwon.
Damwon continue their march of destruction through the group stage here. Not breaking a sweat as we start the second round robin. Just going to be the first game, but looking very crisp.
Damwon, although it was some good early game plays there from PSG Talon, Damwon just proved that they were a step above here yet again. Remember, it's not quite over for PSG Talon here just yet. They will have to win every remaining game today. And on top of that, then everything else just has to go perfectly for them to have a chance at a tiebreaker for second. Of course, they can no longer secure first. They are 0-4 right now. Damwon moving up to 4-0 and just looking more and more impressive as we move forward. The way they were able to break that base there at the end, just hovering people back and forth between two lanes, and then within a blink of an eye, they